We're Tracy and James McCoy, and this is the Fish Slap Effect podcast. Where leaders, creators, and disruptors collide. Each week, we bring you honest conversations about business, marketing, leadership, creativity, and the bold ideas that help people stand out in a noisy world. Whether you're building a brand, growing a business, or looking for fresh inspiration, you're in the right place. Let's make a splash.
Welcome to the Fish Slap Effect podcast, where leaders, creators, and disruptors collide. I'm not Tracy, I'm James.
I'm not James, I'm Tracy.
What's up? It's great to see you.
Great to see you too.
We're actually having a conversation, and there's no kids here, no dogs here. Nobody's asking for mac and cheese. It's pretty exciting. So, what is the weirdest rabbit hole you fell down this week on the internet? I can go first if you need time to think.
Yeah,
It's
you
up
go
to
ahead. You go first.
I've fallen down a couple of weird, I admit it, weird rabbit holes. The first is Italian Greyhounds. We've gotten a second dog in our family. Shout out Riley. Shout out new dog. Shout out Coco Chanel. We have an Italian Greyhound now, but previous to getting the dog Friday, I was like, I need to check out some videos about these dogs, which, by the way, hopefully it's just like an internet thing that they're completely insane. They get the zoomies, they jump everywhere, they have stick arms, et cetera, et cetera. I've seen none of that in the last 24 hours of having this dog, but definitely fell down the rabbit hole of watching Italian Greyhound videos, MMA walkouts, mixed martial arts. I'm not into it that much, but for some reason, several of these fighters who I can't name or pronounce their names, their walkout, their music, or how they dress or how they don't dress, whether they wear shoes or not. I just got into that. And so those are the two rabbit holes. I might still be down, but that's okay. How about you?
Well, it's always a rabbit hole when it comes to squishies and how much our kids like their squishies in our family.
Shout out Dumpling Squishy.
Yes, Dumpling Squishy, and big shout out to Five Below for
Okay.
all the fun. So randomly, speaking of the Italian Greyhound, we went to go get said pup Coco Chanel, all her puppy things from the pet store, and there's a Five Below right next door, and we see as we're entering the pet store with the dog that there is like, I don't know, at least 100 people outside of Five Below. We're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And of course, Riley calls it because she sees the gold. She's like, it is the dumpling squishies, and being able to get a gold dumpling squishing and OMG, blah, 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 blah. So of course we go to Five Below afterwards. Thankfully, the line was down to about, I don't know, maybe a good 10 people. And we get into Five Below. What does she get? She gets the viral 4th of July dumpling squishy. So we are set. Big thank you again to a non-sponsor, Five Below, for making our day.
But if you want to send us free stuff, we'll take it.
We will take your free stuff. But it was so much fun because she not only got all the things she wanted for her dog, but then we got the viral squishy thing. So life is good. And, now I'm probably going to have to go down a rabbit hole to see how much these things are worth, because according to her, it's thousands of dollars, $1 million for a dumpling squishy, but it made her day. So we're happy.
Hey, shout out to you for taking two children shopping, 2 children, Five Below, and the pet store. Good gravy.
And a dog.
And the dog. Good point.
Everybody
Coco
has fun.
Chanel. Awesome.
She's a good sport.
So today on the pod, we're going to talk about marketing agencies, specifically Get Fish Slapped, what we do and how we do it. I know, I won't say parents, but we'll say relatives. What do you guys do?
I don't know. Anybody who walks by our office and they're like, are you a fish market?
Yep. They pay you to do what?
Kind of. Yeah.
Or, what do we pay you to do anyway? So we thought it'd be kind of fun to talk a little bit about what we do and how we do it. So let's just dive. I know I dive, splash, fish, etc. Let's just dive right into it. Get Fish Slap provides services of branding and business identity. So what can you tell me about that? Because that's not my side. I know we're in company, we're business, we're partners. We have definite lines, like I do this and Tracy does that. So definitely Tracy is branding and business identity rock star. So talk to me about that, and then I'll figure out something to talk about.
Well, I think when you think about somebody's brand and you think about your personal brand, I mean, that's a big thing right now, right?
Yeah,
How you
yeah.
dress, what you wear, how you talk to people.
We can do a fit check if you want. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
we totally could do a fit check, but
Reefs,
that's
Fabletics, built.
discount rack,
There you go.
whatever it
Keep
might be.
going. Rent the
So
runway.
when you think about, all the things that build up who you are, whether it's how you talk to people, how you talk to your kids, how you interact, what you like to eat, what you like to drink, that all makes up who you are and what you do. And then we think about our businesses and, like how do you approach things? Is it family owned? Is it really corporate? What's the tone? What's the undertone? How casual, not casual, all those things. So that all kind of falls into what your tone of voice looks like. And then we think about, okay, well, what does that need to look like? And that's putting all those pieces together, whether we're working with an existing brand, maybe a long time brand, they've been around a really long time and they're looking for a refresh, they want to get more modern. So it's looking at fonts and colors and, how we can reposition things or even making it look more throwback, but really understanding what someone's goals are and then creating something that's beautiful that really fits into who they are and what they talk about and everything else. And I think a lot of it really goes back to understanding and getting to know people and who they are and getting to know who their business is to be able to create a really effective brand.
And you mentioned brand, and you ended the sentence with it. Perfect lead in for me. Um, in the beginning, I wasn't really too uh, didn't get it, or I didn't understand like brand guide. What brand guides can do, I mean, especially for your business specifically out there, is it can make your life easier. So if you know what your fonts are, you know what your colors are, you know what your feel, your vibe is, you never have to recreate the wheel every time you want to do an ad or do a post. You can make templates, et cetera, et cetera. We'll talk about that.
Well, and even thinking about that too, like
Mhm.
with your brand guides and creating your brand identity with the now, like speaking about overall branding and like creating that brand voice in the age of artificial intelligence and with chat being able to create just about anything for you, it's combining a nice balance of authenticity and AI tools, right? Because AI is awesome and it can be a great tool, but so many businesses are now taking it to the next level and turning it into like their brand. However, everybody's brand looks exactly the same now when you can see that they made their logo or their banners or their flyers with ChatGPT because it has all the same kind of undertones, fonts and everything else. So it's kind of looking at, like how you wanna stand out in a big sea of fish. How do you wanna swim? Do you wanna swim the other direction? Do you wanna look different? Do you wanna stand out in a crowded space? Or do you just wanna look like and feel like everybody else? So when we think about creating a really effective brand, I think that's a really big piece and, balancing out utilizing AI as a tool for inspiration, not necessarily for creating your entire brand.
Got it.
That makes sense.
Got it. So you've converted me. I'm into brand guide. So another service that we provide here at Get Fish Slap Marketing Agency, and by the way, we do have our iconic fish here. That's our golden arches. That's our Nike swoosh right there. That's our Levi's red tab. And quite honestly, I mean, it's served us well over the years, and it's evolved. We used to have this big long all these words, and now we just have three letters that sum it up, and they're in the shape of a fish. We also provide content creation, social media marketing. I don't know if you want. How do you want to talk about that? Do you want me
Yeah,
to
well,
talk
and
about it?
I
You
think
talk
I
about it.
think one of the great things like in today's episode too is really just talking about what makes us a little bit different
Yep.
than all the other fish in the sea, right? And just understanding, yeah, and I'm gonna keep like going
No,
down
you're
that
not. We're not
going
gonna
down
let
the
you.
yes, why not, right?
EPA hit mute. Just kidding. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
mute Tracy.
Just
Um
keep swimming.
but
You're welcome.
another one. I think it's important to be able to one understand like what does a marketing agency do, but
Yep.
like some marketing agencies do one piece of what we do. And the one thing that I saw that was really important when we started the company was that clients needed so many different things. And having to work with multiple agencies created multiple cost centers for clients and too many people to talk to. So, as I was working with all these different types of like larger clients, smaller clients, and different people. We're like, okay, we should learn how to do this and bring this in house. And let's bring this in house and let's bring this in house. So we were able to create a really full service approach to someone's marketing. So, kind of going through the different services that we do provide to understand what a full service agency can do to help support your goals.
It's funny because when you said that, it made me remember I had a conversation with one of our clients, and it was very pointed, but it was good. They were like, what you do isn't really that hard. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's really not that hard. And it probably doesn't take you that much time. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're the client, probably doesn't take that much time. And he goes, probably we could probably do it in house. And I'm like, yeah, you probably could. And he's like, well, why shouldn't we? And I was like, whoa. And then I just quickly thought on my feet and I was like, when we're handling your content and when we're creating your social media posts or responding to your reputation online, that's all we do. That's what the whole team that has those responsibilities do. In other words, we don't have to create content and then get up and sell a hamburger or build a house or sell t-shirts or whatever the case, whatever the business is. That's all we do. And I watched his light switch turn. He's like, oh, I get it. And one of our core values is we try to free people up to run their business because a lot of times, and I don't like saying small businesses are businesses, and they're all very busy and demanding, and sometimes you don't have as much support as other businesses. But anyway, you know, usually we do these things, marketing things when we have time, either before we open or after we close or on our lunch break, but that's not when our fans are online. And having a full-time marketing agency, they can identify where your fans are, when they are online and market to them accordingly. So we definitely create content. We take photography, videography, we do storytelling through content, we do organic audience growth. What else do we do in regards to content creation and social media marketing, Trace?
So, when it comes to content creation, we don't just create content, we create a strategic plan for your business. So, we're looking at your business, trying to really understand who you are and what you stand for, kind of going back to that brand voice, making sure that everything is cohesive and consistent and it's reaching your goal. Whatever that might be. Your goal might be to have viral videos or your goal may be to have a presence, your goal may be to sell. So, depending upon your goals and what you're looking to accomplish, that's where we develop a cohesive plan. And it might not be just social media. We need to have a 360 approach and really take a look at all the other pieces and all the other components, whether it's posting to your Google profile, whether it's responding to reviews, whether it's creating showcases on Apple Business Connect, and taking a look at all the different pieces and ensuring that we're doing all of the things that we can do to help you from an organic growth perspective. And then kind of going back to, I just want to show this thing off again. This is so cool. So when we were talking to a middle school, it's actually Hillgusta Middle School, their CTE class made this for us, which is so neat. And then another cool thing is this was our logo down here forever. And then we had the very talented Anna that used to work for us and then moved away. And she's an artist and she drew this. And we were looking for, something a little bit more simplistic. So that is really cool. And I'll make sure to tag her so you can check her out. She's pretty awesome.
So in addition to content, what about some digital advertising services? Can you tell us a little bit about that? And I
Sure.
would talk about it, but I'm not allowed to do. Just kidding. That's not my wheelhouse.
So digital advertising, that's one of my favorites. So we've been a Google partner for pretty much ever since we started the agency, and we do so much in the digital space as far as, like digital ads. And when you think like, okay, well, what's a digital ad? Anything that's not print, right? So if you think of you open up your phone, you go on your computer and you see ads pop up on different websites. You do a search for a company and an ad comes up that shows them ahead of competitors. You're visiting a different, like a weather app, and then up pops an ad. Sometimes I can't talk, but hey,
It's okay.
that's
You're
life.
good.
So up pops an ad. That's what we do, right? So we place those ads and create strategies for it. So what does that mean? What we do is we really take a look again, we go back to what are your goals, and then look at all the tools in our toolbox and how we can use those tools to help you reach your goals. For us, it's not just about making money. Yeah, we're a business just like everybody else. We want a profit.
For-profit
We
business,
are a
yeah.
for-profit business, but we are also for fair profit, and we want to ensure that our clients are making money, because if our clients aren't happy and their businesses aren't profitable, they're not going to keep us on and can continue to refer us. So what we try to look at is, like what we're doing to help them grow, and then choosing tactics that are going to help them get the most traction. In some cases, that's curated audiences. So we're not just going to say, hey, let's just do an ad to people who live in Indiana, because that's who we're trying to target. So let's target all of Indiana because that's our market. And, that's it. We'll just target everybody there. But maybe your brand only needs people who are 18 to 32 and that are at a certain income threshold and that maybe only live in these certain zip codes. And we can curate that audience. Or maybe I only want people, maybe I'm a pet product and I only want people who've been in and out of pet stores in Indiana. So then I'm going to geofence all the pet stores in Indiana, and I'm going to get all of the people's devices that were in and out of these pet stores and serve them ads on all these various platforms, including on their social media channels. So it's ways for us to get laser focused and create curated audiences to get in front of the right person at the right time to help you reach your business goals.
All right. So if you were going to be a pet product, what pet product would you be? Flea
Uh,
collar? Bouncy
Fishbowl.
ball? Fishbowl? Awesome. So what does it mean to be a Google partner? I kind of heard that mentioned, but I think it'd be important to explain it to me.
So, in order to be a Google partner, it means that our team has to go through a certification process and ensure that their certifications are up to date each year. So, like for each type of tactic that we run on Google Ads, whether it be search or video or shopping, we have to get certified in those. So, at least half of our team has to maintain their certifications, but we make sure that everybody does certifications that works on Google Ads because we think it's important. We also have to spend at least $10,000 every 90 days in Google Ads. So, it shows that, that you have a decent like pool of business, so you can ensure that you can effectively manage spend, and that we maintain high optimization scores for all of our ads as well. So those are all super important things. And if we don't maintain all of those factors, then we aren't able to continue to be a Google partner.
Got it. Thank you for that
Sure.
clarification. So, in addition to branding, content creation, these digital advertising services, um, geofencing, we geofence,
We
and
geofence.
local-based marketing. So, what is that? Help me understand.
Local-based marketing,
Like
like
geofence. Yeah,
geofencing.
I
Yeah.
know.
So
Everybody's probably going, "What does he do there?" I'm nothing. No, that's just not my wheelhouse.
you just want me to explain it.
I do.
So going back to that pet example again, so when we think about
Fish
location,
bowls,
fish bowls, yes. When
flea
we think
collar.
about location-based advertising, so we're really looking at like specific locations and conversion zones. So if you're a local-based business and you want to drive foot traffic into your business, there are various tactics as far as geofencing goes that can try to help you bring foot traffic from whether it be competitors or other areas that might be close by, et cetera, to drive foot traffic. And then we can actually track if people walked into that location and tell you that you had so much traffic prior to starting this campaign, so much foot traffic after the campaign, and these are the audiences that it came from, and show that these people interacted with your ads and then they actually physically went into your location. So it really helps you get lift as far as conversions go. Like traditional types of campaigns, you would be thinking about, did someone click? Did somebody call? Did they fill out a website form? In this case, the optimization goal is, did they physically come to my location? So we're able to run various types of campaigns using curated custom audiences of people who are in certain places or have certain types of activities that they've done online to track the right person again at the right time to get them to your location.
Awesome. Creepy, but awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. We can even do this for events, which is really cool. And this is one of the best applications that we have. And I really love to do this because if you have like a festival and it's very specific and you're like, man, I really wish that I could get other people that went to these types of festivals to learn about my festival. We can even go back up to a year in past time to look for devices that were at these locations and create curated audiences of these people to target them again now to bring awareness about whatever event you have coming up. And we can do that for anything. No, they don't know that it's me, Tracy. It's just mobile ad IDs that we're capturing. So it doesn't trace back to an individual. It's all encrypted. So it's private. And that's really important. It's very privacy first as far as that's concerned. Like we're not looking at who the specific individual is. We just know that that device was somewhere.
And like all these tactics that you were chatting about, is it key that clients have a great or really good functioning working website? Because we do provide website services here at
Yes,
Just Like.
so that's really important, and that, again, kinda going back to us bringing all these services in-house, we found early on that folks really wanted to run campaigns like this, but their house was messy. So it's kind of like when I invite people over, I clean obsessively. I wanna welcome them into a clean house. I want 'em to feel welcome when they're there. I wanna have some snacks on the table, different things like that, maybe some warm cookies in the oven,
There you go.
all the things, right?
I don't know where you find the time.
You know what? I don't. It just drops out of the air
There you
sometimes.
go.
Figure it out. But it's important that your house is clean so that your website looks good. And when we think about users and how they're finding you and where they're searching, hands down, analytics show us. I would guesstimate to say at least about 80%, and that's probably low. We're searching on mobile. Most of our clients, when we look at their analytics and we look at how their campaigns perform and look at their organic social media, their website visits from paid and from organic, most all of their visits are coming from some form of mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a phone. So making sure that the websites are mobile friendly and designed for mobile first is really important. So the usability is there. So if someone is scrolling on their phone, it's very easy for them to hit on that call to action and take action versus them having to search, because we do live in a very fast-paced world now with the way that the Internet of Things has evolved, right? So people expect to get their information fast, and if they can't find it, they're moving on. So if your website isn't able to keep up and it doesn't have the right tools in the right places, we really don't even recommend advertising. And the websites aren't mobile friendly, we won't run ads until they are, whether we redo the website or somebody else does, because it is that important. You're wasting money if your website isn't mobile friendly and you try to run any form of digital advertising.
Awesome. So I'm going to skip um, down a little bit because we're just kind of wrapping up the whole like ad campaigns, this and that. So, in regards to full service marketing agencies, specifically Get Fish Slapped, providing reporting, analytics, and campaign transparency, can we talk a little bit or touch a little bit on the campaign performance reporting or anything like that?
Sure, that's one of
Awesome.
my favorite things. So I think one of the biggest things that really does set us apart is our the way that we report on campaigns. We talk to a lot of different clients and potential clients where their, like, mouth will drop, and we're like, "We can show you everything in real time." They're like, "Oh my gosh, in one place? This is amazing." But it's been really important to me over the years to find a product that was able to bring everything in one place so it's transparent and everybody can see how their campaigns are performing in real time, so we can make adjustments and pivot as we may need to help get them results. So we have a really cool dashboard product that our clients can log into, and they can see how their ads are doing. So any paid media that they're running, they can see their organic Facebook, their Instagram, see how those platforms are doing. They can see their website analytics, their Google Search Console, everything all in one place. And we're essentially connecting dots. We're pulling in data points from all these platforms. They can still log in to their own Google Analytics account to verify and see how things are performing. But this is one place that just brings everything all together and pulls in the information that they're looking for. So over the years, we've been able to develop some really good data points as far as what people like to see. But it's really cool because as we onboard new clients, and that's part of getting to know them and their goals, we go through the dashboards and then we ask if there's anything else that they want to see or any other data points that might be important to them based on their goals. And then we're able to modify those dashboards so it shows everything that they're looking for. And we also use a really great call and lead tracking platform that lets them see if they did get a phone call, that it will record the phone call. It'll show an AO transcription of the phone call, and it'll tell them exactly where it came from and how many touch points it took to get them there. So it's a really great way to add value to be able to understand how campaigns are performing, where your dollars are being spent, and if they're being spent effectively, and if we need to make changes. So I love having this kind of transparency because it provides us an opportunity to have really great conversations with our clients around how things are doing and make decisions on where we want to allocate dollars in the future to help them be most successful. I think it's definitely one of the best platforms that we have to help support everything else that we're doing.
I agree totally. Um, totally agree. So one of the things with a full service marketing agency, specifically Get Fish Slapped, I can talk on because I'm here making it happen, reigning employee of the year. Is when I reach out to clients, whether I'm sending them their content or whether I'm sending them their reporting or if I'm having a conversation with them how the last month went. I mean, it's incredible to hear them say, when we talk monthly or when I get these reports monthly or when we have our meeting monthly, it's the only time I ever sit down and look at my business. And it's like, I feel you. I understand. I can empathize because you're so busy doing all the things that you don't take a moment to sit back, and these clients are actually they're almost thanking us for sitting down and making them take a break to look at their business. And I want to thank them because especially with some of our long-term clients, they're 40 years of business, 25 year in business. I mean, we're like, hey, we're approaching 12, and they're like, yeah, we're 40. But no, to hear all the experiences that they've gone through, and I almost want to tell them, hey, I learned as much sitting here talking with you about your results as you learned from me. And I think that's huge to be able to have that opportunity to have that give and take conversation with your clients.
Absolutely.
Awesome. We're moving along. It's just a real page turner. Hardy har har har. Um, so we've talked a little bit about our services. We've gone deep into some of the things that we do, some of the services that we can provide, and hopefully it gives you some things to think about, whether it's for Get Fish Slapped or another marketing agency or doing things in house, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, as Mr. Lighthearted, funny guy, this has been like really serious. My gosh, I want to lighten things up a little bit. So we're going to lighten things up a little bit. So I always have these little things to keep me, my map to keep me on track. I give one to Tracy as well to keep her on track, except what I have written down here is not on hers. So that's the
Fun.
bonus you get for preparing for the podcast. Woohoo. Anyway, so little question for both of us, not just you, as we wrap up another episode of the Fish Slap Effect. I forgot to say like, comment, share, maybe follow along. I guess we're supposed to say that, but for the last one we did, we'll do a voiceover. Don't worry about it. So what is one thing business owners, whoever he or she or they are, need to fish slap today? What is one thing I'm going to let you think, and I'm going to steal your answer. I'm going to show you my powers of telepathy. Um, what's one thing business owners need to fish slap today?
AI.
I was going to say that. Dang it.
Oh.
Okay. So what do you mean by that?
Well, I think there's so much going on with artificial intelligence right now. It's moving really fast, like lightning fast. And it is an absolutely amazing tool. And so many people are like freaking out about their website and am I going to show up and how am I showing up in AI summaries? How am I showing up for the Google generative summaries and the Google AI summaries and everything else? And, what do I need to do? And, how do I need to get there? And I think that's one area where people just really, I think, need to start to spend some time to focus and look at. And also, it's not just about like putting funny prompts in a chat GPT and having them do things for you. You'll even start to see now on some of the social platforms where it's marking things as AI generated, or it wants you to mark them as part of the policies as AI generated. So it's one of those areas I think that just deserves some attention and strategy because there are certain things that you can do now with your website, whether it be through structure and looking at how your website is set up and structured for success and what you're doing through all of your listing sites and how you're linking things up and what your descriptions look like to help set you up for success. I think that it's more than the fun, goofy photos that we're doing on chat, and it's how we can use AI as a tool and continue to challenge these various platforms, whether it be Chat or Claude or, like any of them,
Grok.
Meta, Manus. I mean, there's so many different tools out there now, and the platforms are all developing their own. Like Google has their own little AI tool within the platform when we're
Gemini.
well, and when we're in Google Ads, it has a tool where we can go and ask questions. It's much more effective than it was in the past just with help. So we're starting to see platforms adapt their help to actually be able to audit different things within the platform itself to provide more pointed direction. So there's just so many different ways that it can be utilized. So I think it's something that I think everybody needs a little fish slap for, to take a step back and take a look at how it applies to your business. And if you're not sure and you need expert opinions, that's where you can reach out to us even for consulting sessions to talk a little bit deeper. I think we can have like 10 episodes just on this topic.
Awesome.
To dive in.
So just to
Planning out the
summarize,
next 10.
fish slap AI. An AI fish slap of AI. Fish slap. Okay, got it.
What?
I was just summarizing what you
confusing.
said. Now I'm trying to think, now that you took
Oh.
my answer, because I was going to say, hey, yeah, you need to fish slap the AI, use it as a tool, but then you said all that other cool stuff. So I think, I'm reading the question to stall. What's one thing business owners need to give a little fish slap to today? Is maybe just looking at their business. I know that as an older gentleman, the way that I do business or the way that I look for a business is far different than people that are 10, 20, heavens forbid, 30, 40 years younger than me. That's your next generation client. So I think, or customer, I think a little fish slap to the business owners is to take a look at who your customers are and maybe ask yourself, these customers are great, but what's my aspirational customer? What's a customer that I want to do business with that I'm not doing business with right now?
Agreed. And I think something also that's
Thank
important
goodness you
to
agree with me.
I do. I agree a lot on that topic. And I think something else to think about as well is when we're talking to a lot of businesses whose target age might be homeowners or even retirees. So many people will say things like, these people are not on social media. They're not at the right age. They may be too old. Well, think about what year it is right now. And 30 years ago, people who were in their 60s were only 30, and social media kind of started about 20 years ago. So your early adapters are there, and you're seeing 80 and 90-year-olds all over Facebook, and you're seeing people continue to adapt to TikTok and these other platforms. So it's like really taking a good hard look at your audience and realistically looking at age and understanding who's where and what platform you feel like is most appropriate to really be on and be in front of your clients,
Well,
potential
awesome.
clients.
Great answer. And that wraps another episode of the Fish Slap Effect. A little shout out to Jess, shout out to Kayla, shout out to Ace. I was told, hey, what's EP? Executive producer. So executive producer Ace, executive producer Jess, our muse Kayla. That's where all, plus the rest of the team that picked up the slack while they were working on putting these podcasts together. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Thanks for being here, Trace. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, James.
I hope you didn't feel like you were just getting interviewed. I hope you felt like it was a little more collaborative than the last time.
Yes, I think so. I think we got
Awesome.
to have a little bit more discussion this time.
Absolutely. So, hey, we're super glad that you joined us. We hope that you join us in future episodes and you come along with us and help us make a splash.